Probably one of the soundest, toughest colts in history, Round Table had a complete symmetry and absolute lack of blemish. He raced in the colors of Travis Kerr, running at 10 different tracks at age 3 alone. He had been purchased at 3 from A.B. Hancock of Claiborne Farm in Kentucky, where Round Table was foaled, being by Prince Quillo from Knight's Daughter. After a very successful year at 3, Round Table carried top weight of 130 pounds in the next year's Santa Anita Handicap.
By 3 lengths and Porterhouse into the stretch. It's Round Table by a head. Terang is second, driving hard. And Janine is third. Porterhouse is fourth. It's Round Table driving hard. And Terang. It's Round Table and Terang. Round Table in front by 3/4 of a length and coming away. They come down the line to finish. Round Table winning it. Going away by 2 lengths. Terang is second, 3 lengths. Porterhouse is third.
Moving across town to Hollywood Park, Round Table, number 3, with his regular rider, Bill Shoemaker up, was assigned 132 pounds in the Argonaut Handicap. So incensed was owner Kerr at this heavy impose so early in the season that, although Round Table was allowed to run this day, he never again competed at Hollywood Park. He was meeting tough, seasoned horses over a track which favored speed, and this race indicates how weight can affect even a great thoroughbred.
They're off and running. At the start of Shawneen breaking.
Going past the stands the first time, it is apparent that Shoemaker is content to play the waiting game. He notes that How Now, Shawneen, and Terang all are showing early speed and setting a fast pace. He lets them go and settles for 5th. If Shoe forces Round Table at this point, he will lose precious ground going wide around the turn.
Round Table is 5th by a length and 5th.
Showing extreme confidence in his mount, Shoemaker holds Round Table in 5th position going down the backstretch. He's saving him at every pole, knowing that with 132 pounds up, he cannot ask for more than one big run from his horse. Heading into the far turn, Shoemaker sees that the time is now to go after the leaders. He takes Round Table to the outside of Like Magic. Then, still saving ground, he moves past Terang on the inside.
By a length and a half. Terang is next and Round Table.
He must now decide whether to go inside of the 2 leaders or play it safe and go around them for the drive. How Now shows he still has plenty of run and won't give up that rail. So Shoemaker heads Round Table to the outside and starts his final drive for home.
With every jump, and now it's Round Table and How Now. They're coming down to the wire. Round Table, but How Now holding on gamely. It's going to be close, and we will call it Round Table winning it by a nose.
He won, but just barely. Round Table was the best grass horse of his time, and maybe of all time. Horse of the Year in 1958, he was grass champion 3 years in a row. Some of his races were simply amazing. In the 1958 Lawrence Armour at Arlington Park in Chicago, Round Table was boxed and blocked almost all the way behind Aisha, Clem, and Hoop Band. Into the stretch, Bill Hartack found room and set sail after Clem. Round Table carried 130 pounds this day to 110 assigned to Clem. It looked impossible, but Hartack laid his silken nose on the finish line at the last possible moment.
And they're off. Era going to the lead, followed by Round Table, Wiggle, Terang, Jack Ketch, anxious moment.
In the 1959 Arlington Handicap, Round Table, number 1, was the defending champion, having won in 1958 with 130 pounds. This year, he carried 132 and faced 1957 winner Manassas, who carried but 112. Bill Shoemaker rode.
Here they come. That's Round Table leading by a length and a half. Manassas is second on the rail. Newton closing round third in anxious moment. That's Round Table along the rail. Manassas on the outside. Newton. They come to the wire. Round Table wins by a neck. Manassas for the second. Newton.
Round Table won 14 of 16 starts on grass in an era of few grass courses and large competitive fields. He carried 130 pounds or more on 25 occasions and established or equaled 16 world, American, or track records. He retired as leading money earner and kept that title until surpassed by the great gelding Kelso. A.B. Hancock was acutely aware of Round Table's classic pedigree when he sold him for $175,000. That sale at Hialeah early in 1957 carried an agreement that the colt would return to Claiborne Farm to stand at stud when his racing days were over. Round Table lived a long, productive life in the bluegrass, siring more than 80 stakes winners, surrounded by friends and admirers. Northern Dancer, the most successful racehorse and stallion bred in Canada, could have been a greater bargain than Round Table, for he was priced at $25,000 as a yearling of 1962, but there were no buyers. By spring 1964, Northern Dancer, trained by Horatio Luro and still owned by his breeder, E.P. Taylor, was preparing for the Kentucky Derby. Favored for this Derby was Hill Rise, a tall, long-striding Californian. On the first Saturday in May, Northern Dancer pranced out sporting Saddlecloth 7, while the favorite carried number 11. It was to be a thrilling derby, a 7-11 derby.
And they're off. Breaking from the gate, Mr. Brick on the inside, Will Rad on the outside, Royal Shuck on the extreme outside.
The run for the Roses started well and held no surprises through the early running. Mr. Brick, Royal Shuck, the Scoundrel, and Will Rad made the pace first time past the stands, with Hill Rise under Bill Shoemaker going easily in 6th place, just ahead of Northern Dancer and Bill Hardtack.
Royal Shuck on the outside, Mr. Brick on the inside.
As they went into the first turn, Hardtack, who rode a brilliant race, moved Northern Dancer into 6th place, and from this point to the wire would see to it that Hill Rise would never head his mount.
With Hill Rise. Further back, it's Mr. Moonlight, Roman Brother, Extra Swell. Then it's Ishkuda and Dandy K.
Northern Dancer is not yet 3 years old on this day and stands just above 15 hands, but has a stride that looks 2 sizes too big and a quickness not equaled by Hill Rise.
Now Will Rad is moving up. The Scoundrel moves on the outside to 4th. On the inside, Quadrangle is 5th. Northern Dancer is now 6th. Hill Rise is 7th on the outside. Mr. Moonlight on the inside.
Nearing the far turn, Hardtack sends Northern Dancer after the leaders. Hill Rise, checked momentarily by racing traffic, takes off after the Flying Canadian.
Northern Dancer has now moved to 3rd and also moving to challenge. Further back, Quadrangle, Hill Rise moving on the outside.
Into the long stretch, it's Northern Dancer taking command, with Hill Rise coming on the outside. Northern Dancer on the lead by 2 lengths, and Hill Rise driving courageously under extreme pressure from Shoemaker. The big horse keeps trying, but at the finish, it's the Canadian Bulldog winning it by a neck. Hill Rise 2nd, and the Scoundrel 3rd. The time of 2 minutes established a new Derby record. Two weeks later at Pimlico, the 2 rivals met only 4 others for the second jewel in racing's Triple Crown. Trainer Horatio Luro and jockey Hardtack were brilliant in their handling of Northern Dancer. At the start of the Preakness, the Canadian colt was sent from the gate smartly and raced 3rd to Big Pete and Quadrangle to remain in good striking distance. Hill Rise, meanwhile, raced outside the 3 into the first turn and never seemed to find his best stride. Only a few people close to Northern Dancer knew that the colt had been running on a patched hoof to alleviate a quarter crack suffered in training, and no one knew whether or not this then revolutionary treatment would be successful. At the final turn, Northern Dancer turned back his final challenger and coasted home. Quadrangle, who finished 4th this day, would come back to win the Belmont Stakes and prevent a Triple Crown sweep. But the best horse ever bred in Canada had no match here in Maryland. Northern Dancer's owner, Edward Plunkett Taylor, is the world's all-time leading breeder of thoroughbreds, having sent out more than 200 stakes winners. Northern Dancer was foaled at Taylor's Winfields Farm near Toronto, being sired by the magnificent Nearctic. His dam was the native dancer mare Natalma, and Northern Dancer would retire to one of the most phenomenal stud careers of any thoroughbred ever, standing at a fee of $225,000, no guarantee. His last race was the 105th renewal of the oldest race on the American continent, the Queen's Plate. The Lieutenant Governor of Canada would later present to the plate winner the traditional gift offered each year by the ruling English monarch, 50 gold guineas. Canadian racing fans turned out to cheer a national champion. They were not disappointed, for Northern Dancer easily sped away from a retreating band of opponents to win Canada's most cherished classic by 7.5 lengths. A wrapped tendon in New York forced his early retirement, but Northern Dancer met and defeated the best of his generation.